Welcome to E-Pathashala lecture series for MArch students. This is planting design, and in this particular module we will see about planting types and their uses. In this particular series we will see about we will see recap on the structural characteristics of plants and try to understand that in trying to understand that plants have a structural characteristic, it has its own form and structure. Then we have we will see as we saw in the last module that classification of plants based on human dimensions and in which we saw that plants are being classified as ground level and knee height level, knee to waist height level, waist to eye level, as well as from then we have further on we have the classification of the taller plants which are the above high level as well as the tree category that we can find in the landscape. So, in this particular module we will also be seeing the classification of tall height plants in terms of their identification, where do we classify them as tall heights, and how it could be used in the entire landscape itself. So, and also then we would move on to seeing the classification of above eye level of plants and also the tree planting and their uses in the design landscape. So, as we saw earlier that plants have a particular structure, it has a character in itself, it has its own form, and by virtue of this particular design aspect of form that it has, it also significantly alters and the environment of a particular design space, and it alters the structural character of the place itself in terms of having its own habit, its crown, its shape, its foliage density. All these affect the design landscape as such in a particular landscaped environment, and it is important to know that, as we saw that earlier. Then we saw the spatial functions of plants in the human landscape, where we are designing plants for people, and we also saw how the ground covers and the low height plants, the medium height plants have their own ways in which they could be used very effectively to create movement spaces, to restrict movement, and also to create edges or boundaries just at the lower level, the that which is below the waist height level, and how they could be easily used as effective design elements to allow vision as well as at the same time to deter movement. So, in terms of having a visually open landscape or an enclosure, these kind of lower level of plants play a very major role in establishing the design landscape with respect to a design intent, where there is a necessity for free vision, or else there the vision lines need to expand or go beyond a particular point and give a sense of largeness to a particular space. So, it is important to understand, and that is where we saw the different types of plants, and in this particular series we will also see about the taller variety of plants, and we saw how Danish landscape architect Jacobsen has classified these plants into different types with respect to having these plants as the low height plants, the ground covers, the below knee height, the knee height, the waist height, the medium height planting that we saw as the waist to eye level plants, and that is where in this particular type of series we would look at the taller varieties, that is the waist eye level, the medium shrubs and the tall herbaceous shrubs type of variety, and something above the eye level. There are certain shrubs which grow above the eye level and form very effective elements which do a variety of which give a variety of functions in terms of screening, in terms of giving a sense of enclosure in the particular landscape. So, it is very vital and important to understand that these plants themselves are very useful, and in terms of creating very significant enclosures within the design landscape as such. And we have the above eye level type of category, that is the tall shrubs as well as the tree plants. As we know, trees are are a major part of the landscape, the natural landscape, as well as it can be very effectively used in a design landscape in terms of whether it is a terrace landscape or a landscape which is done on a roof, or else a very large woodland in terms of the scales also. The trees can be very important elements to bring in a very good verticality in the project, as well as very effectively used in terms of the functions that it gives in terms of giving shelter and shade, as well as defining a particular space by means of its own structure in terms of foliage, as well as the branching type of a particular tree. So, we would look at classifications based on that. So, we will look at above eye level height of plants. In terms of identification, these are shrubs and small trees with a canopy extending above eye level, and it forms a physical and a visual barrier. So, something which extends above the slightly above the eye level, that is where we start with this in this particular series of identifying plants with respect to human dimensions. Above eye level, slightly above eye level, they immediately you have something above the eye level. It means that it immediately it creates the visual barrier and also a physical barrier, and it gives a sense of a wall that is being created in the landscape as such, and suddenly it screens off, it cuts off visuals of something that is beyond the landscape itself. And these planting can be so closely knit, as I told you that even a fence kind of situation, an enclosure, a screening or a shelter in a smaller scale is possible with a larger tree planting, as well as the taller shrubs as such. So, where a tree is not maybe need not perform that particular kind of function of doing the screening, we have the taller shrubs which really give a sense of a backdrop for the particular area, and very effectively give a kind of a unique identity for the project as such. Considering the above eye plants, the uses, they become important design element, as I told, where it creates a physical and a visual barrier. So, it is very important to also notice and understand that the visual and the visual barrier that it creates in a particular space, and the enclosure it creates for a particular space as such. It defines the boundary as such. They also can be proved as a good backdrop for display planting. We saw that we have different types of lower level planting, like the ground covers, the medium height shrubs, as well as the tall shrubs. And also when we consider these kind of tall very tall above eye level shrubs or even trees for that matter, we saw that the ground height shrubs as the medium height shrubs act as good bases on which the taller plants can be set up. But looking at it in the other way, they can these kind of tall planting can also act as good backdrops for the smaller plants, or any kind of feature planting or a display planting that can be done. So, if you have a large good ground covers of the low height plants with a lot of different colors, and which needs to be displayed, the taller backdrop, the taller shrubs of plants give a very beautiful backdrop against which the entire nice flowers and the water features being set together. So, they can act as a very effective backdrop for display planting as well, and also they provide privacy and shade and shelter. So, once by virtue of their sizes, we see that these kind of plants immediately bring in a sense of enclosure, and wherein a certain sense of privacy is being created, a sense of shelter is also being created, shelter in terms of being under the canopy of a particular structure. So, these could be effective design elements where it could be replaced, effectively replaced. It could act as materials or an element which is effectively replacing, in other words replacing a structure like like a gazebo or something, a very tree or a tall shrub which goes above eye level, and it can cover spread over the upper story of any particular space. Then it can effectively bring in that kind of shelter that it can bring into that particular landscape. moving further, we see that these taller plants can also accompany smaller buildings. So, buildings as standalone elements are part of the urban landscape, but in many cases it requires these taller plants to actually slightly go with them and soften up the visuals in the urban landscape as such. So, taller plants, they accompany smaller buildings, they give a sense of dimension, there gives a sense of edge definement in a particular design landscape. So, that is very important and something that is nice to do when it comes to smaller buildings. Also softens up the visuals in the landscape as such. Then we have these above eye plants, they act as effective elements. They can frame a vista or a landmark very effectively. You can see that the taller shrubs immediately when put behind a landmark immediately brings that particular landmark into focus. By means of arranging or putting these taller shrubs on either side of a pergola or any particular landmark, immediately you try and bring them into focus as such. As an individual element, they also are a very good specimen plant as a visual and also it can act itself as a visual focus by itself. So, when it is being put, maybe there might be some very good plants like the plumeria tree or which is a small tree again, or else we have the rhaphisfarms or even the other type of palm varieties which are slightly above eye level, something which is very interesting. The something like Calathea lutea, we have these plants slightly go above eye level, but when they are placed in a landscape together, they can form very interesting elements, specimen plants by virtue of the texture, by virtue of the size of the leaves that are there in the plant. So, they also make good specimen plants which give a good visual focus as such. And these are some of the uses of these plants. You could see that very interesting usage of these plants in creating boundaries in terms of giving a sense of dense foliage to a particular project. We could see how the tall shrubs goes and spreads over the upper canopy of this particular thing, and the heliconias, the lobster claws, and these kind of plants make up that particular space and gives a sense of dense forest type of feeling. Of course, we can see them predominantly in the three layered type of landscapes where you have the ground layer and the mid layer and the upper layer, wherein the mid and the upper layer, somewhere in between, we have this character of plants which are very notably evident in this particular kind of landscape. So, they can be very effectively used in framing the pathways of any particular landscape, and gives a sense of a tunnel kind of effect. It also, once we do it in a static space, it also helps us to make a person move more faster because the vertical proportion is being altered here, and it gives a sense of and it can also act as a very good element in adjusting the speed of the movement of the pedestrian itself. So, it's a vital element which could be used in that way also. Then we go as the above eye level, that is the tree planting itself. Here we have trees coming into the picture. So far we have been seeing at lower height plants the shrubs varieties which are to waist height to eye height and slightly above eye height in terms of shrubs. And there we go, afterwards we go on to the category which we all which we are very familiar, is the tree category, the tree planting itself. The same size of trees are of the same order of the magnitude as buildings, bridges, and smaller and industrial developments. The tree planting can therefore be used for screening, it can be used for separating and sheltering, enclosing, the accompanying the larger structures. So, there are varieties of uses which the tree does because they themselves find themselves in different scales as such, and therefore, it becomes very important and necessary to start identifying trees, also classifying trees and divide them into different categories, like the small height trees, which we would say about 5 to 10 meters in height. Then we have the medium height trees, which are 10 to 20 meters in height, and then classify the others as the tall trees, which are more or less 20 meters and above in height. So, the tree types of classifications: small 5 to 10 meters height, medium height trees the 10 to 20 meters in height, and the tall trees which are 20 meters and above in height. So, we have different scales as understanding these trees as such in the local landscape, and becomes important and necessary for us to be able to use them accordingly with respect to the spatial dimensions of the particular area as such, and be able to arrange them. Now, we will look at small trees. Small trees are those, as I said earlier, are about 5 to 10 meters in height. These small trees are of similar height or lower than the majority of building of 2 stories. So, their influence in the urban environment is mainly local to the spaces between the buildings. So, smaller trees create good courtyard spatial elements. They also connect buildings together. They act as the lower story, something which is very close to the ground, but still gives you a sense of shade, and gives you a prospect of using the understory very effectively with a lot of shade below this. So, you can see in this picture that it has its influence in the urban environment is more local, and it defines a particular space more local, and being very close to that particular the closer building framework, or it's more or the particular campus in which it's being established. The medium height trees can create spaces that contain smaller buildings, and therefore have greater effect on the spatial structure of the urban landscape. Earlier we saw that small trees are part of the are just accompanying the building, and we see that they look like as though they are with the building. But as we go for with the medium height trees, that is the 10 to 20 meter height category, then when we see that the buildings are being slightly overshadowed, and it looks like the buildings are a part of the entire landscape which has the medium size of trees. So, as the scale grows bigger, it becomes that the building, it looks like as though the buildings are plonked into the tree area. So, they have a greater effect on the spatial structure of the overall landscape as such. Tall trees are less common in urban areas. We could see them more in hilly areas and more outside because of the space they demand, and also they are naturally tall growing species which are often plants in trees planted in streets as well as in gardens, only to be looped or pruned once they begin to shade in the nearby areas, as well as they also start to dominate the local landscape as such. So, these it is important to classify these trees themselves. As we have been seeing classification of plants with respect to human dimensions, we see a further classification of trees as small height trees, and as well as small height, medium height, and tall trees as such. Tall trees also by means of their scale, sheer scale, they form their own spatial network. It's a very strong pattern, a backdrop, and it creates a unique identity to a space. In the rural landscape, large trees create a large scale framework of plants or trees. So, it's very interesting to know that the trees themselves, because of its sheer scale and because of the amount, the community, how they express themselves as a large community of tall trees, it creates a unique identity to a particular space, like how you could see in this picture. Then we would come to see trees and their uses. Trees can integrate the larger structures. They can also act as effective buffer between activities that are incompatible with each other. You want to separate out a highway from a residential area. So, you have a tree, entire tree community which acts as a very good buffer between these activities, and also they can integrate the different structures as such, and forms a very nice connector by which in future one could say that the built form actually gets into the natural landscape as such, though the actual way of development is the reverse, where the built form is done first and then the planting is being done, but further on we could see that it will blends with the local character of that particular area. And in further seeing trees and their uses, they can also screen and separate larger buildings, good separators, and also it can act as effective elements which can also accompany closer buildings, and also separate out larger buildings as such, and create the necessary ways in which avenues or even roadways or routeways are being established in a particular area. They can also frame and emphasize landmarks by virtue of their scale, by virtue of the arrangement that you can make in a particular landscape. We could see that very nicely they could frame, and they could bring in a certain sense of emphasis when we consider the visual composition of plants themselves. So very effectively these kind of plants are in terms of trees are being used to frame and emphasize the local landscape. A single large tree can itself be a landmark or a focal or an important focal point. We know that the tree is a tall tree, or else by a tree which is being has a very longer lifespan, maybe about 20-25 years, or even there are even more old trees, and some have withstood the ages and some have withstood very strong challenges that has come in its way by means of weather patterns, changes in weather patterns, heavy cyclones or earthquakes, or there might be many natural conditions as well as human conditions, like any particular kind of vandalism or a terrorist activity or whatever it might be, or else a construction activity, something that brings in more damage to that particular area. But in that sense, there are some trees which have survived certain situations, and which stand alone in certain places, and they themselves become important landmarks as well as focal points. Like you could see a tree which is called as a survivor tree here in the US, where something damaging has happened very close to the precinct, and this tree has survived the damaging effect that has happened to the infrastructure by means of a terrorist activity. So it is today a very important focal point in the landscape, and it's important to understand that they can also complement good building forms, and a group of trees when clumped together, when spaced together, it can, and by virtue of selecting the particular tree according to its own shape and pattern, the leaf foliage, its own structure, it can complement the building styles. We have different building styles, different architectural styles, and we could also choose trees that go along or go that could complement these kind of styles well, and they could place them or group them quite interestingly, so that they could be put in the local environment like that. Trees can integrate unrelated building styles as such. Not only use trees to complement the building structure, but also at the same time, when we have a particular urban environment where we have different building styles which are totally unrelated. Maybe there is a stone facade, the next building is something which has more to do with glass, and we have a lot of different unrelated building styles, as you can see here, and we have this entire tree which is lined up, the same species of trees which are lined up, and they give a sense of integrating the unrelated building styles, and slightly blurs out that particular difference that the human eye can actually bring forward. So very important way in which we can look at trees in terms of bringing a sense of uniformity to the visual landscape, where differences are being blurred out, and by means of a particular tree, and something which is very closer to the human eye, something which one can feel in the immediate vicinity or see in the immediate vicinity, and that is something that is that a tree can do, or a group of trees by virtue of which they can be brought together and integrate unrelated building styles. So another very interesting way of looking at trees as such, they also can give vertical containment to rootways. So because of its sheer scale and because of the verticality it brings in terms of the vertical proportion that this root can give, root can have, like the width of the road to the height of the trees. We could try and give in a lot of verticality to a particular rootway as such. It will also be interesting to note that these kind of trees, when we give the vertical containment by means of altering the vertical proportion of a particular rootway, it can also be effective elements which also can alter or make significant contribution to the speed of movement in a particular routeway. So the more closer the trees are, or the in a very short span of a road, the more higher the movement it is, or it is more broad, the road is more wide, and we could give a sense of largeness to a particular routeway, as well as also be able to work out on the dynamics of that particular space, which we could see on in the later module. So they also give vertical containment to rootways. Trees as clumps and woodlands, they emphasize topography very well. You could see in this local picture, which shows a picture of the English landscapes as such, where you have beautiful meadows and different areas which are of different heights, and the English landscape just keeps going on and on, the ups and downs, the beautiful swales and the hillocks, all these are on different at different levels, and they flow into each other, and what significantly highlights them is the trees and the clumps and the woodlands which are together, which are being brought together, so that once the trees are up, once the trees are placed at the different levels, one could identify the clumps and identify the topography. They can emphasize the topography and bring in that sense of the variety, or else the more the speciality of that particular landform itself, or the local landscape is being emphasized very well. So the clumps or woodlands can emphasize topography quite well, and also create that sense of largeness to a particular space, and bring in a sense of grandeur also to a particular space. So these kind of trees and clumps, tree clumps also do their are effective in terms of establishing the topography, as well as to emphasize the topography of a particular plant. They can also create a distinct woodland environment within their canopy, and they also can disguise insensitive earthworks. As we told that these kind of planting can disguise insensitive earthworks, whether it's a derelict landscape where these kind of plants are, they can also you can put them to also hide insensitive earthworks as such. So they create a very distinctive woodland environment within their canopy, and it is very and also once the woodland environment creates itself by means of trees, the entire forest land is being created, and the maybe it's a cut land, or it's a disturbed landscape, but the lines are blurred, and one can develop that particular land, and it can disguise the insensitive earthworks like a cutting of a rock or a hillock or something. It's a very effective tool in terms of putting the trees together, so that it creates that particular environment. So we would see it's quite an important thing to understand the understand the trees as such, the plants in terms of their heights, the low heights, the medium heights, the tall and the tree planting, and everything with respect to its own heights of trees have their own kind of uses, and in future we see that tall plants create enclosures, they facilitate shelter, they facilitate shade, they create patterns, they create vistas, they frame landscapes, and it is very useful in terms of understanding these kind of plants with respect to their heights and what significantly each one can contribute to the design landscape. So, as it's very important to have this classification at the back of our mind as we proceed to in the realm of planting design, as well as use plants to be a very effective design element. Thank you.